Nobody's harder on the Bruins than Boston fans. They're tough. And I think what I have seen from some of the reporters is, okay, why did you make Jeremy Swayman sit out all of training camp over what amounts to $400,000 a year over the course of his contract?
Why did you trade?
Because it was a $4 million difference, right?
Why did you trade Linus Ullmark when you did?
Why did you trade him at all? Like, okay, listen, some of the...
Oh, for the massive haul you got back?
Well, this is the thing, right? Your window, like, is he not, am I not mistaken? His deal lasted into this year. Mm-hmm. And so my question was always, listen, you're going to have to sign Swayman and it's going to cost you $7.5, $8 million. And yeah, nobody wants to spend $14 million on goaltending. But if that's your competitive window, Marchand's contract's up, Linus Ullmark's contract would have been up. Don't you and then what you got for him was Eunice Korpisalo. And again, I keep telling you, very, very below average goaltender in the NHL. And I think all of that combined would make you think, hey, maybe perhaps this guy's gone. Now, from what I have heard, because I did ask around earlier this season about it, Cam Neely and Bruce Cassidy. Bruce Cassidy? Who am we talking about here? Yeah.
Bruce. What are you trying to say?
No, the general manager.
Don Sweeney.
Don Sweeney.
Yes.
Why did I say Bruce Cassidy? Are like this. Mm-hmm. And inside the Bruins organization, Cam Neely is a god, and rightfully so. And what he says goes. So the reason I ask you that, Jesse, is because I agree with you. Mm-hmm. And I think the thing is the Bruins will probably be the last ones to know it when everybody else does. You know what I'm saying?
That situation you outlined where the president and the GM are so tight and he's not going to fire his buddy and all that stuff, that leads to problems. That leads to a guy who's probably past doing the job anymore and he still has it because his friend wants to have that job. He wants him to have that job. So that sounds like a very bad situation, and I don't think it gets better for the Bruins under that.
Loves their guys. Hey, let me tell you about a couple guys. They're tied for second in the AHL in shutouts.
Yep.
One of them is the top goals against average in the AHL. One of them has the second best save percentage in the AHL. They're both Bruins. Mikey DiPietro is having an all-star season. Mm-hmm. In the AHL, and Brandon Bussey was the other guy with 4 shutouts. His numbers aren't quite as good. I thought he was going to be the backup heading into the season. Mm-hmm. You couldn't have just held on to Ullmark, and graduated one of those guys, but they refused to do it, and instead they have this sideshow. And I know you got assets for Ullmark, but at what cost? You yard sailed a month of the season. Swayman's save percentage still starts with an 8. I'm with the Bruins, I'm able to go, this didn't work out. And like in sports, there's always going to be, this didn't work out, that didn't work out, whatever. Here's why it was never a good idea, though. Here's what you could have done instead, and it probably would have been better. We'll never know. Unless one of Swayman or Korpisalo gets hurt and DiPietro gets a run. Mm-hmm. And calling up an AHL goalie with good numbers doesn't always work. Garrett Sparks, right? But boy, it's just mess after mess after mess. And I think it's a testament to how good of a foundation the Bruins have that they're still in the mix.
Yes.
Like we're talking about them like they're dead.
They're not.
They're all right. They might make it. They might be fine.
And within the team, one of the best locker room cultures in the entire league.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And a big part of that is Brad Marchand.
So do you trade him? I don't think so. I would love, listen.
What do you get?
Cheering for Brad Marchand it must be awesome all the time. Would I love Brad Marchand to be a Leaf? Yes, in a heartbeat.
God, I'd love to be a fly on the wall for Team Canada.
But
and just what's going on in those rooms.
There's just no way that the Bruins would ever trade him to the Leafs.
Oh, he's not coming to Toronto.
No, he's not.
No.
But, he'd be going to the West, I think. But it's
Colorado,
man.
He's going to Colorado.
Makes a lot of sense. Oh, Steven, don't do this to me. I just
or Vegas.
I have a hard time going because they do love their guys. But here's what complicates the Marchand situation. If they want to extend him, and let's say they want to keep him at the money he's making, which I believe is $6.5 million.
It's so good.
Which is actually a really great deal for an older guy going into these final seasons of his career because the cap's going up so much.
Yes.
Marchand at 6.5, you just keep him the same, right?
Completely expendable.
I look at I look at what he brings, and it's awesome. But you've kind of handcuffed yourself with that Lindholm contract. And, Pettersson, people are hard on Pettersson, right? People are really hard on Pettersson in Vancouver for the money he
Which
makes.
one?
The higher paid Elias Pettersson, because there's two Elias Petterssons in Vancouver. So the higher paid one, they're very hard on.
Would this be the first ever Elias for Elias trade?
It might have been. Well, no.
that
I'm
what
not
you're
saying
trying
it
to-
would make that trade.
Oh.
I say Elias. I don't think Vancouver wants Elias.
No,
Lindholm.
I don't think they do either.
I don't think Boston wants Elias Lindholm. I think that contract's an anchor. And can you have both Elias Lindholm and Brad Marchand's deals while Brad is declining and Elias has fallen off a cliff production-wise? Because he's got, 30-something points in 50 games? Like that, 57 games is not good.
This is, I mean, it feels like we say it every year, and this is probably the first year that it's true. This is just kind of a line in the sand season for them. You got to choose what you are going forward.
29 points, 57 games.
Yeah. Like, you can contend for like a while here. Like,
Yeah, you can be a wild card team.
you'll be in the mix.
And if Swayman's better next year, and he will be,
He will be 100%.
then you're guaranteed a playoff spot.
I
I think that's a stretch.
You think so?
mean,
Yeah.
not guaranteed, but like,
You still got
again,
Pasternak.
you'll be in the mix.
Yeah, sure.
You'll be in the mix. If
Do you want to be in the mix with Detroit?
Yeah, but if you think that, like Detroit, I think is going to be has a much better future than the Bruins. And if you wanna call that deal like a boat anchor is holding back the team, it's in year 1 of 7.
I know.
Like you're not getting better from this point if
know.
it's already bad.
Yeah.
They're not devoid of prospects, though. Like, this isn't, I hate to keep picking on them, like a Pittsburgh situation.
Mm-hmm.
Do you hate to keep picking on them, or is it true?
No, you hate to keep picking.
I hate it. I hate it.
Winky. I look at it a little bit more like Washington, where I'm like, okay, well, there's pieces there. Mm-hmm. Again, like I don't think this team's dead in the water, but you have a decision to make here. You have is Marchand going to be a Bruin for life, or is this the year that you move on? Because the pieces you get for Marchand, if you do move on from him, are not necessarily going to help your lineup right away.
No, they're not. No.
And is Boston going to be able to stomach that? I don't think the answer is yes.
One of the things Boston did smartly was move on from Milan Lucic when they did. That was one of the smartest moves they could have made.
Wow.
Did
That was a little more obvious, but yeah.
Did they draft well with those picks? One of them turned out.
Oh,
DeBrusk.
God.
Remember they had 12, 13, and 14 or something? Or 11,
13,
12?
14, 15.
And they missed on it. They swung and missed on a couple of guys. And no disrespect to them, but there was some stars later on in that
Zach
draft.
Senyshyn, Jakob Zboril, and Jake DeBrusk. I think I screwed up the order, but
So none of them are with the organization anymore.
could have had Matt Barzal. You could have had Kyle Connor. You could have had Thomas Chabot. You could have had...
I think was Heiskanen on that? Or was
no,
he higher? He
Heiskanen was
higher.
like third overall.
Yeah.
No, it was a crazy lineup after that.
Right. So, with all that said, is this
Shillington.
that was a hard decision. Trading Johnny Boychuk back in the day, that was Johnny Boston.
Yep.
Not a popular decision, and it worked out for both sides. Boston got some good assets. Islanders got the end of Johnny Boychuk, and Johnny was great on the island as well.
I appreciated that they traded him to the second most Bostonian team in the NHL, the Islanders.
Do they have the guts to say, we can keep this window open? David Pasternak is the future. We got to move on from another popular player.
You have like a beginning of prime sniper, a beginning of prime goalie, they're not in dire straits.
No.
But you do have some decisions to make, man.
Okay, so let's wrapping this part of the segment.
Sure.
Steve, do you make that trade now? Do you trade Marchand at the deadline?
If I'm the Bruins, the best thing about my franchise is the culture. No.
Jesse.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it, and I don't think looking at who Cam Neely and Don Sweeney are, those are lifetime Bruins guys. They played almost all of their careers in Boston, and Jeremy Jacobs is on the team. It's run by Boston Bruins literally from the top down, and I think they'll look at the Marchand situation and say we don't think it's good for the culture to move him at this point.
Right.
Maybe you sign a 1-year deal and next year it looks a little different, but this season I don't think it gets done. Even though I'd love to see either a Colorado or Edmonton trade get done there. And I think both are realistic and that they have the assets to acquire him. I don't think it happens this season.
Hey, listen, gold medal games tomorrow, and I don't think Marchand needs the distraction.
Not gold medal.
Well, the cup game, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. What are there any American players that might get traded? Let's talk about them. Let's distract them.